which is meaning, you know, no problem, no worries. Yeah, can you help me? Too easy. I didn't realise that. I thought it was an aggressive thing. I was in a hotel and a package arrived for me. The bloke phoned up and he said, "There's a package here for Mr. Bailey." I said, "Oh, thanks very much." He said, "Do you want me to send it up?" I went, "Oh, yes, thanks very much." He went, "Too easy." So I said, "Well, all right, we'll train an ibis to fly it up then. If that constitutes more of a challenge." I was a little bit surly with him. Australia's vast. Every time I go there, I realise what a vast country it is. Australia could have been invaded during the Second World War. Nobody would have noticed, right? Germany could have set up an entire Reich up in the Northern Territory somewhere. They would have been oblivious to it for 2 years. Eventually some rural country copper would have blundered across it like that. What's going on here? This is the new Germany. We have set up a Reich in your country. All right. Oh, carry on. You haven't got any fruit or vegetables or potpourri on you at all, have you? Thing is, when I was in Australia, there was a coup, right? The government was ousted, the Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, was chucked out, Julia Gillard came in his place, all in a matter of days. And it was very harsh and very brutal, but it did actually really make a point to me that, you know, it's what we've all known for many years outside of Australia. You can't have a world leader called Kevin, right? You just can't. It doesn't really convey any statesman-like gravitas. Nicolas Sarkozy, Angela Merkel. Kevin, hello. And now, they, like we have in Britain now, a coalition government. It seems to be a bit of a mishmash. We didn't have the unifying moment of Obama. You see, Obama unified America, and he is, to me, an inspirational figure. He's intelligent, articulate, he seems genuinely engaged in the world. My only problem with Obama is that some of his phraseology is uplifting, but vague. You know? You hear it and you think, oh, God. What? Yeah, well, I better applaud, you know. Mainly out of white liberal guilt, I suppose, you know. I mean, his book title, The Audacity of Hope. But it sounds very noble and uplifting, doesn't it? The audacity of hope. But it's not really the way I would describe hope. I wouldn't describe hope with audacity. Maybe the mundanity of hope, perhaps, you know. The depressing inevitability of hope. The pointless day-to-day crushing jackboot of history on the face of hope. The pointless uselessness of hope, but not the audacity of hope. When you think of hope in Britain, you just see the face of Rooney. Rooney's face is not the face of hope. It looks like a child's drawing of a cabbage. All his features are drawing together in the middle of his face like the top of a duffel bag. In fact, all the English footballers are a bunch of useless, turf-kicking, knuckle-dragging, monobrow millionaires every one of them looked like some aging warehouseman who'd been given conflicting storage instructions. And okay, even the pundits were lost for words at how appalling it was. One of the pundits on the BBC, Mark Lawrenson, yeah, the one who looks like a melted rabbit, yeah. Watership Darley, I call him, and he said they've got to try and get the ball into the corridor of uncertainty. Yeah, what's that? Past the halfway line of unknowing in the 6-yard box of tremulous ambiguity? Manager Fabio Capello, okay, he does English, not really his strong point. He was shouting from the touchline, partly in Italian. "È scossa un Apollo di Cablo di..." Rooney's face, all his features disappeared now like a black hole. In his first game in charge of England, Fabio Capello said it was una partita all'inglese, an English-style game, which is such damning with faint praise, isn't it? So all'inglese becomes this terrible negative adjunct. Yes, all'inglese. Sounds like a very disappointing pasta dish, doesn't it? Pasta all'inglese. Yes, overcooked rigatoni and Marmite. Bellissimo! Yeah, so, and Obama gave us a good kicking over the oil spill, which apparently now has been finally capped. But what they've done, apparently, they've packed the oil well with Dan Brown novels, right? Because they're very absorbent, apparently. I've seen people go into Waterstones and order a kilo of Dan Brown, right? They don't even know what it is. I've got to cut a bit off the end. You'll miss the ending. Well, whatever. Yeah. He's another one, isn't he? Pudding-faced, currant-eyed murderer of prose. But I would never condone the burning of a Dan Brown book, okay? Much though I loathe and detest his work, well, I say work, you know, words randomly arranged to form millions of dollars. But not bitter at all. So, hey. I tell you what I hate, are those sort of whimsical, girly singer-songwriters, you know, the ones, you know, the ones that kind of, they sing songs like this. I'm a girl and I live in the clouds, I float like a worm that dreamt it was an acorn on the wings of the morning. Girl and I live in the sky like a cotton gossamer strand of thread that unraveled from a dress that was woven from the thoughts of a mermaid. I've got a gossamer brain, got a dandelion mind, one, and it's gone. tonight's show is about doubt. Or maybe it isn't. I haven't made my mind up yet. And one of the ways that music finds its way into our consciousness is through advertising. And advertisers are very keen to banish doubt from your minds when you're selecting a product. That's why the music always surreptitiously, subconsciously leads you to believe in the trustworthiness of the product in question. Something, perhaps, you may have heard something of this nature, like in an advert for makeup. Life never stops, and that can take a toll on your skin. That's why new super youthful face shaper ointmenty stuff can smooth those troubles away. Our unique atom rearranging pro dermatizer contains our de-uglification technology that re-lovelifies your actual face off and replaces it with a newer, kinder one, which eventually seeps all the way into your brain. Kinder Face Marmalade from L'Oreal, because you need it. All right then, you cheeky scamps. All right, so, anyone familiar with this particular instrument? Lute? No. Do you say banjo? No. What? Mandolin? No. Balalaika? No. An acorn? What? Bazooki? No. Oud. Who said oud? That was probably one of the strangest things I've ever heard. Is this an oud? Oud. See, that's not the right answer to that question, is it, really? Yes, but no. Is this an oud? Oud. The prophecy! Is this an oud? Oud. No. Is this an oud? Oud. No. Is this an oud? Oud. No. But is it an oud? Oud. Time slows in the O2 to a glacial drip. Is this an oud? Oud. Is this an oud? Oud. Outside the O2, empires rise and fall. Huge winged crabs hold dominion over a blasted post-apocalyptic wilderness. But inside, is this an oud? Oud. Is this an oud? Oud. Is this an oud? Behold! Truly, truly, it is an instrument that clearly does not need to be played. It's mainly rock you can play on it. And of course, Iranian hip-hop. Welcome to Tehran. Anyone can vote. As long as it rhymes with Ahmadinejad, I'll take my foot off your throat. One of the things I thought was extraordinary about Obama winning was that he's such an intellectual. He borrowed phrases from other world leaders. You know, Gandhi said, "Be the change you seek in the world." Obama says, "We are the change we seek in the world." And this went over big in the rural heartlands of America. I was amazed by that. I'd have thought there'd be two cowpokes standing in Ohio somewhere going, "What the hell's he on about, Frank? We are the change we seek in the world." Hell, I don't know what the hell is he on about. Ding, 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 like that. But no. Apparently they were saying, "I believe he's paraphrasing Gandhi." Yes, I believe he is. Tapping hard? Oh, don't mind if I do. And the thing is, I'm amazed they went with Obama at all. I mean, you know, I thought Hillary would have a shoo-in, but no, you know. Apparently America's got an issue with gender, not with race. So, reminded me of an old country and western song I'd like to play on the oud, thus rendering it country and eastern. So, there we go. Well, I don't mind if a black man takes away my guns and bans the Ku Klux Klan, but I don't think I could take that from a woman. Trouble is, in Britain now, we rely mainly for our electricity on France, right? We get all our electricity from France, from a company called EDF, which is helpfully called Électricité de France, which is just electricity from France. And I don't know whether that makes it any nicer. I don't understand how it can be any better. Is it French electricity? It's like slightly more, I don't know, a little bit more stylish. People saying, "Oh, get you with your Parisian voltage." And the thing is now, because we have to rely on them, we have to phone them up. And of course they always know. They know that we're English, even just by our accents give us away. We say, "Bonjour, j'ai un problème avec le meter." "Oh, les Anglais!" "I just put you on hold." No. It's even worse with the German companies like Powergen. You have to phone them up and say, "Herr Fatcat, können ich ein bisschen Elektrizität haben? Ein kleiner bisschen Elektrizität, bitte, hübsche bitte, hübsche bitte. Nicht für mich, nicht für mich. Für die Kinder. Für die Kinder. Für die kleinen Kinder. Hilfe mich. Hilfe mich, Herr Vater. Hilfe mich. Ich muss in ein bisschen Elektrizität. Name! I'm very worried about the teaching of creationism in our schools now. Creationists, thank you. Oh, you few Darwinists in, eh? Oh, thank God for Darwin, eh? So, creationists mainly are Americans who think that the world was created in 1982 to coincide with the rise of Supertramp, right? And you can really easily disprove this by playing them some of Supertramp's earlier albums. But they won't have it, you know. And the thing is, they always bang on about this sort of these things like the intelligent design, the irreducible complexity of certain aspects of nature, like a giraffe's neck, or a human eye, or the bombardier beetle that fires acid out of his arse, which is a handy trick to, you know, in a tight spot. But the thing is, nature isn't. There's no intelligent design in a lot of nature. Most of nature is work in progress. It's very imperfect. I mean, you look at frogs. When male frogs will so often try to copulate with other male frogs that the frog has a release call to let the other frog know, basically, he's wasting his time. If you see two frogs going at it, hammer and tongs, the one underneath goes, "Ribbit." What he's actually saying is, "Leave it, Frank, you're embarrassing yourself." Look, socially, I'm cool with it, right? But reproductively, this is a cul-de-sac, okay? And I think the thing is, we are actually evolving. That's the key. Although biological evolution happens so slowly that we don't notice it in our lifetime. But social evolution is happening. I think that's happening quicker. It's speeded up by technology, by the internet. And science will help us get on better as a species. I'll give you an example. Women are always claimed to be more empathetic than men. They claim to have greater empathy, that men are no good at it. When women talk to each other, they empathise. But men don't. They just drink. That's all they do. We can't empathise. We just drink. What's the problem? So, the thing is now, that we always thought that was a behavioural thing, that women would just happen to be better at it because of, I don't know, their upbringing. But scientists have worked out that there's an actual chemical in the brain called oxytocin, which gives women a greater affinity for empathy. They just have more of it. So it's a physiological reason. The good news for men is that this chemical is now available as a nasal spray, right? So, if your wife, girlfriend, partner thinks you're not being empathetic enough, a quick little blast of that. I feel it! I feel your pain! And women will get quite suspicious of blokes who are genuinely empathetic, because they'll say, "You've just been at the oxytocin again, haven't you?" And they'll go, No, I haven't. And then clearly they're ODing on it because they burst into tears because there's no tomato puree in the house. The ragu will be ruined! You know, if blokes OD on oxytocin, there'll be other blokes trying to bring them down by blowpiping shots of chauvinol into their neck. Thing is, you see, I'm a Darwinist, and I mean, I believe in evolution. I mean, evolution has been around for ages, you know. And the creationists will say that it only happened with Darwin, but of course Darwin just used the accumulated evolutionary thought that had been building up for centuries. I mean, the first inklings of evolution happened around the 4th century BC with Empedocles, the Greek philosopher, and he noticed patterns in nature. He also was a vegetarian because he thought that animals are the dwelling places of tortured souls, which is a brilliant way of ruining a meat-based barbecue. Sausage? No, they're vessels of the damned. Oh. And Darwin knew that his book was going to cause a furore, so he needed a bit of extra kudos, a bit of gravitas, a bit of respect from his peers. And what he did, he decided to become a world expert in something. And so he had a few barnacles kicking around his house after the Beagle trip, so he started to become an expert in barnacles. That was his aim, to become a world expert in barnacles. And the thing is, he probably thought it would take him about a couple of months, but it took him 8 years. He spent 8 years studying barnacles. He studied them by putting his hands in a block and tackle and rested them over the table where he was working on the barnacles. His kids grew up knowing nothing other than barnacles. They went round to other people's houses. Is this where your dad does his barnacles? After 8 years, he was the world expert in barnacles, as you would indeed hope to be. In fact, the previous world expert said, well, that's 12 minutes of my life I'll never get back. And Darwin actually wrote in his journal, I hate a barnacle as no man has ever done before. Barnacles are fascinating things, though. They're fascinating creatures. And everywhere I go, I ask people about their collected knowledge of barnacles, as I will do tonight. So, I was in Stornoway in the Isle of Lewis. I said, anyone know anything about barnacles? And a bloke down the front went, they stick to boats. I went, that's good, we'll workshop that up. And eventually, a little voice from the back of the room said, tell him nothing else. Don't share your barnacle knowledge with the stranger. I'll keep my barnacle information to the grave. I asked this question one night, and the bloke said, I know something about barnacles, Bill. He said there was a little bonus joke he threw in. And he said, I am the barnacle expert at the Natural History Museum in London. I said, wow, you must be like the world expert in barnacles. You must be the #1 expert in the world. And he went, oh, no. I said, well, you must be top 3 then. He went, oh, yeah, top 3, yeah. Like a chart of barnacles. The barnacle is an extraordinary creature. It has the largest penis to body ratio of any animal in the natural kingdom. And, you know, fair play. Yeah, exactly. You may well whoop that. The barnacle cannot, of course, understand you. Contextually, it doesn't really know anything about that, but well done. Does anyone know what the ratio is, actually, off the top of their head? 8. You said that with a degree of confidence there, sir. Sort of thing, the kind of fact that just trips off your tongue lightly. Somebody just nudges you at work. Excuse me, what's the ratio of barnacle penises? 8. Carry on. 11. 69. Well, someone had to. 10. I reckon it's around about 10, something like that. It's quite a lot. I mean, that would be huge. And that would be equivalent of a man with a 60-foot penis, which would be unwieldy, to say the least, wouldn't it? Here's Clive. Don't get him excited. He'll have the buffet over. There he goes in his little van. Let's expunge that thought from our brain now, as we all say the word barnacle in unison after 3. 1, 2, 3! Oh, you see, that's weird, isn't it? Getting a bearded stranger to demand you say the word barnacle. That's like a middle-class mugging, isn't it? It's like, you there, say barnacle, barnacle, on your way. Or a middle-class mugging would be, you there, make the sound of sherry being decanted. A little viscous, more like port, but I'll let it go this time. Well, to relax, I'm going to have to relax now. What I like to do, I like to go to the supermarket. But this is one thing I recommend that you never do, and that is I gazed into the laser scanner, right? The church is now in session. The high priest of Ood is upon us. It's going really well. I don't think I'll come out. I got to do it from back here. So, okay, are you ready for the second half? Please welcome back to the stage the comedy stylings of Bill Bailey. Yeah. It's I'm the real Bill Bailey, not the fake Bill Bailey. All those other Bill Baileys are not the actual Bill Bailey. Because I'm not like the diamond and lady kind of person. I want houses and patios. I'm not of that demeanor. I'm shy. More of a woodland creature. Yeah. I don't like the bling, the urban bling and all that thing. You know, I've got a bear and a leopard and a solid gold owl. You want to go gardening? I've got a Fabergé trowel. It's like a Fabergé egg, but in trowel form. I'm friend to the hawk, the badger and the sparrow, but I like the rustic bling. I've got a Prada wheelbarrow. I've got a farm. I've got cows made out of tungsten. Sometimes I get crazy. I like to get amongst them. Empty out a clip of my clock on my tungsten cow. Cow goes down, pow! Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? 'Cause I'm the rural guru, I'm the rustic mystic. Check out the countryside karma, I'm the Dalai Farmer. Who is the greatest doubter? Yes, Thomas. I feel sorry for Thomas, really, because I think he's got a bit of a bad rap. You know, Thomas, the name Thomas has become this phrase, a doubting Thomas. It seems harsh. I just think Thomas was just a sensible, rational human being. And all the other disciples were just credulous nitwits. You know? Oh, Jesus says, I came back from the dead. Look, I'm back from the dead. Woohoo! And they went, yeah, sounds great. Thomas, just a couple of things I need to clear up here, Christ. He's branded some sort of doubter. And that moment, when Christ reveals his wound to Thomas to prove to him that he has come back from the dead. There's this iconic moment. He takes back his cloak. He shows Thomas the wound and he says, touch the wound of Christ. In that way, because he was quite posh, Christ. Touch the wound of Christ. It wouldn't have worked if it was in the north of England. Touch the wound of Christ. Definitely not Australian. Touch the wound of Christ. Go on. Too easy. Put your finger in there. Move it around. And that moment in Christian iconography has become immortalized in many, many paintings. In fact, it's been painted by dozens of artists over hundreds of years. And it's a very famous painting called The Incredulity of St. Thomas. And it's really the moment where in the Christian faith doubt was expunged for all time, because Thomas was then convinced. And I'm just going to take you through a few of these paintings, right? Now here, this is by Honthorst, and you can see here, this is clearly Christ, here. Note the beard, the long hair, the beatific demeanour, and he's looking down. He's massive. Look, he's huge. And Thomas is invited to touch the wound, touch it, touch the wound of Christ. The square belly button of Christ. Wait a minute, how's he got a belly button? Wait a minute. And Christ has actually just ordered a coffee in this scene, and he's just said, just put it there. I just know, look at the boil on Thomas's finger. I really wouldn't want that hand got anywhere near an open wound, would you? All right, that's Haunt Horse. Now, this is by a painter called Guercino, and which is, if you know you're Italian, is a nickname. The Squinter, which is obviously not a great attribute if you're a painter, but here, dark, moody scene, very, very moody, influenced by Caravaggio, of course. He must have been a Caravaggista. And here, Thomas touching the wound, gingerly, tenderly touching the wound. Quite a sexy Christ. Quite an erect nipple. And thus, quite good nipple shadow. Very good nipple shadow, which is actually the name of a prog rock band I was in at school. Nipple shadow! Well, it should have been. And over there, just some random beardy bloke waving, trying to get the bloke's attention. Over here, mate, chuck us an orange, chuck us a satsuma, an apple, something. Over here, mate. Ooh, gooey! I just like this slightly affected pose of Christ in this one. Like, come on, get it over with. And it looks like Thomas is actually putting some money in the slot in Christ. It's actually a mechanical Christ. The arm's going to go up and down in a minute. And here, Christ surprised Thomas. He went, well, hey! Thomas is, whoa! Now, this is a very famous one. This is by Rubens. Now, over here, this rather fine-looking gentleman is Nicholas Rocox, and he was Rubens' patron, a very wealthy Dutch merchant. Look at his lovely fur, look at that. And the thing is about being a patron, you could actually be in the painting. And at least he's got the good grace to appear interested in the scene, unlike his wife over here, who's just happy to be in the painting. And over here we have Christ, quite a hippie Christ, yeah, like I was totally crucified, yeah, I was like... It was like really painful, like when the nail went in, like ow, like really ow a lot, like ooh, like when you really catch your toe on something, like really ow. And Thomas, clearly Scottish, I think, oh, look at that, oh, it's gone right through, oh no. And then the same random beardy bloke just in the corner, stoned off his bonds, transfixed by Christ's nose. He's looking at it going, that is an amazing nose. I have never seen a nose like that. Oh my giddy aunt. Okay, now this one, these people at the back have clearly got the wrong idea. Look, it's in his hair. No, it's there. It's there, clearly there. Quite an aggressive-looking kind of biker Christ there. Touch the wound, man. Touch it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know, man. You went there. You went there, man. And this is Verrocchio, a sculptor, obviously. And look at the work he's got in here. Look at the folds he's chipped out of these clothes. I mean, I really feel sorry for him. I feel desperately sorry for Verrocchio. He spent all his time and effort on getting the cloaks right. And he thought, no, I'll tell you what, I'll top it off with a lovely halo. And he stood back and he thought, oh, no, I've done a fruit bowl. Bollocks. And he's painted Christ as some kind of avenging ninja as well. It's like, there's the wound. Now this one, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I mean, somebody seems to have sailed Christ into this particular painting. And this has got to be, I'm afraid, the campest Christ I've ever seen. Oh, look, I'm a sailboat. What am I like? But probably the most famous of all the incarnations of this particular painting is done by Caravaggio. Now, look at this. It's an extraordinary painting. Here we see the rich colours, the dark, the light, the chiaroscuro. And here, the rich cloaks of the believers, the flimsy material of the doubter. The crazed, gaunt expression. Oh, look, I get it, Christ, I get it. Christ has got his hand. He's forcing it into his wound. Look at the visceral, modern realism of this scene. Poke the wound of Christ. Thomas is like, yeah, I get it, Christ, I get it. And Christ says, no, feel the wound. Touch the wound. Feel the wound of Christ. Feel it! Faster, faster! Okay, I get it! I get it, Christ, I get it! Thomas isn't even looking at it. He's looking at something else. He's looking at that. That's what he's looking at. See, whatever your views on that particular thing, Christ at least could claim to be some kind of celebrity. Modern celebrity, the word has no meaning. It is devoid of all currency. Anyone can be a celebrity. Endless parades of cookery shows, endless cookery shows. Junior Master Chef, Senior Master Chef, Tiny Master Chef, Klingon Master Chef. Doch, moch, doch, ach, revenge, too warm. Okay. I watched this program. It was Michael Winner's Dining Stars, right? And Michael Winner, right? Michael Winner, not known, all he likes eating. That's his only qualification for judging people's dinners, right? Worrying what Michael Winner thinks of your food would be like going to the park and worrying that a duck has looked at you in a funny way. And some woman phoned him up and he said, "What are we having for dinner, my dear?" And she said some typical bourgeois tidbit. It was, otter caught scallops relaxing on a crostini plinth in a fog of pesto. And he said, I don't like pesto. And she said, oh no, what am I going to do? And I was shouting at the TV. I said, get a cricket bat and make a latex mould of the cricket bat, fill it with pesto, then freeze it, and when he comes home for dinner, you say, you're not going to like this, Michael, on several different levels. See, I don't really subscribe to the whole celebrity culture. I try and avoid it most of the time. I don't even like the word celebrity. But occasionally I get invited to things and they always end up, disastrously. I always pick the wrong thing. I was invited to a premiere of a film of one of the Saw film franchises, right? They're horrible films. A bloke is drugged and he wakes up, he's superglued to a wolf. And he's only allowed to smash it off with his own nephew. Or a bloke is drugged and he wakes up and his ears have been nailed to a washing machine and it's about to go to the spin cycle and twist his head right off. And he can only change it, but he's got to saw his fingers off with a stale baguette over hours and hours and hours. And glue them all together to make a stick so he can reach the controls. Horrible. And straddling above the whole of popular culture like some crab-faced predator like Colossus is Simon Cowell, right? Who I call Agent Orange, right? Because it works on so many levels. He's an agent, he's orange, and like the chemical defoliant used in Vietnam, he's a toxic blight on a generation, right? So kind of works. Actually, where I live in West London, in Hammersmith, there was a cleaning company called Agent Orange, right? Which I thought was a little bit insensitive. Not as insensitive as the record shop at the end of my road called The Vinyl Solution. Which is just wrong on so many levels, isn't it? That's like calling a Chinese laundry ethnic cleansing, isn't it? It's just... Or a Lionel Richie themed Muslim butcher's halal is it meat you're looking for? See, the thing is, this is the tenorion, right? It's a Japanese thing. And it allows you the expression of music. And this is, I think, the antithesis of what the X Factor is about. The X Factor is about moulding people, making them sound exactly like... music should be about an expression, freedom of expression. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. This is you press these buttons here and you get a little pulse. And then I'm going to play my musical fingerprint. Here we go. This is my handprint. Here we go. And the thing about the tenor is it allows you to play images with music. And the thing is, you can take familiar images and then hear what they sound like with music. And thus, we create beauty from hatred. I was in a pub recently, imagine that, and there was these two blokes talking, and one of them said, "You know that Mugabe, right?" And the bloke went, "What? Eric Mugabe used to play left back for Lake Norient?" He went, "No." The other one, "Oh yeah, Robert, yeah, well..." He goes, "He's like a black Hitler," right? And I said, "I don't think he is." I said, "Although conceptually I'd like that to occur, just to see the look on the British National Party's face. But..." I said, "I don't think he is. I don't think analogy works." I said, basically, you know, he's not trying to annex neighbouring nations. What he is trying to do is persecuting the intellectuals and forcibly reintroducing a Maoist-style agrarian society. So, if anything, he's the Black Pol Pot. And the bloke said, "Well, I shall endeavour to become more circumspect about my dictator-based analogies in the future." And with that, he grew a beautiful pair of wings and flew out over the Crystal Lake. Because he was merely a conceptual entity, and I promised him a magical exit from the routine. You don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't have to sell your body to the right. We're in a strange time at the moment. Connected, more connected, less connected than ever before. You know, the YouTube is extraordinary. More content is loaded onto YouTube in 60 days than has ever been broadcast in America in 60 years. Admittedly, most of that is a cat playing the piano. But it is quite funny, though, when the cat is trying to play the piano and he slips on, he can't quite play it. A billion Facebook users, you know. And I'm on this social networking site, Twitter. When I first explored on Twitter. I was horrified to find there were 4 people claiming to be me. There were 4 Bill Baileys already. And they were having a much more interesting time of it. Yeah, going skateboarding, going skydiving. I'm thinking, wow, they're going clubbing. Yeah, might go windsurfing in a minute. I'm having a biscuit. I'm walking across the room. I'm sitting down. Oh, might look out the window in a minute. Oh, that's Thursday. Whoo, It's extraordinary, Twitter, and everyone is on Twitter now. Obama is on Twitter. And that's great because, you get this Twitter feed and it's just everyone's sort of tweets coming through. And sometimes you just get this extraordinary sort of gap between solemnity and triviality. And Obama will say something like, I'm trying to get America's economy moving. I want to see a future for our children. And then the next one is, might have a Jaffa cake in a minute. That was me. And the royal family are on Twitter. Admittedly, it's not the royal family, it's the British monarchy, so it's just a list of engagements. What you really want is the Queen going, corgis have shat in Philip's shoes, lol. And Twitter's become very middle class. Like, before the World Cup when Ireland were playing France and Thierry Henry shamelessly and shamefully handballed. Yes. Well, people were outraged, and rightly so. And the next day on Twitter, some bloke wrote, I was so outraged, I nearly threw my couscous across the room. The key word there being nearly, I think. That was bloody good couscous, that. I wasn't going to waste it. I nearly crushed a cardamom pod with my Mont Blanc pen. I was livid. Anyway, this is an internet love song. Whilst vaguely watching you nibble your sandwich, I was gripped by an overwhelming sense of utter futility. You Twitter, oh my God, I'm having a sandwich, like it's thrilling. 4 seconds later, 19 followers, Twitter, what filling? One of them is me, I say, is it carrot and hummus? You say, wow, there must be a special connection between us. We meet from a tweet, but it's not that appealing. Because unlike Lionel Richie, we're not dancing on the ceiling. I caress you like a curious wasp. You embrace me like a spiteful pheasant. It's quite unpleasant. Ow, my eye. And then you shit on my head. Do we really love? Do we really care? Let's sort this out with an online questionnaire. But in the box mark, do you really want to be with me? We both ticked, neither agree nor disagree. I don't hate you, it's not fate. It's just we're not that great. I don't dislike you, I just unlike you. For your information, I am not laughing out loud, or even laughing my ass off, or even ROFLYSS tea, rolling on the floor laughing, yet somehow still typing. This is a punk lament I wrote when I discovered one of my punk heroes, John Lydon, was doing a butter advert. I can't hear your words of spite, cause they're muffled by the tea and the Vegemite. Bring out the tea and the crockery, carve yourself a slice of hypocrisy. Anarchy in the UK, coming to a tea room any day. Bankers trying to nick my ham, politicians want a taste of the jam. All around there's scum in the gutter, the only thing you can rely on is country life butter. Country life, you spread it with a knife, the knife on the bread has killed punk dead. Country life, you spread it with a knife, the knife on the bread has stabbed punk in the head. Now you're a ghost, and punk is toast. We never had the moment in Europe. We never had unifying moment. The only unifying thing we had in Europe was the ash cloud. I, jolly Joffrey Jokel. I was trapped in Spain by the ash cloud. When I say trapped, I wasn't bricked up in a chimney. I was in a hotel with room service. It was all right. I couldn't escape. The ferries were full, the docks were seething with Russian billionaires saying, "Take the children, take the children." I couldn't even get a train home. There was a rail strike in France. Hey, France, the whole of Europe is paralysed by the ash cloud. Maybe put aside your differences. Put on some extra trains. No. Pourquoi? People were trying to help, you know. Actually, what I did was, I got a lift. We got to France, so I bought an old car, a Citroën, a DS, the beautiful old retro Citroën, and I drove through France, flicking my V's at the France. And the French, even. I flick my V's at the France. I went a bit Dutch there, sorry. I flicked my V's at the France. It was very satisfying, especially near the railway stations. And people were trying to help. I was in this hotel in Spain, and I phoned down to reception, the Spanish receptionist, who was this woman, quite a sexy, husky voice. She said, "Don't worry, Senor Bailey. I will help you reach your destiny." I think she was right. My Spanish was not good enough to respond. My Spanish is pretty poor. My French is all right. My Spanish was poor. Once a friend of mine, another comedian, Sean Locke, and I, we travelled through Colombia in South America. We trekked through the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta to the lost city, La Ciudad Perdida. And we were woefully underprepared. We had a rucksack such as a child might use. We bought in the market for £3. It had sport written on it. It broke in 5 minutes. we had half a packet of orange creams and a big bag of weed I bought off a German arms dealer. Yeah, that is good stuff. I trust you. And so we sat in the Lost City, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just sat there getting mashed, going, Lost City, hey, I've lost my city. We laughed about that for 4 days. Where's your city? Can't find it. We ate all the custard creams. We were just going a bit insane. And eventually we confessed the only Spanish phrases we knew. And I'd learned what I thought was quite a useful one. My Spanish phrase was, muy bien, más barato, which is, that's all very well, but do you have a cheaper one? Which has a practical use. Sean's phrase was a little bit more desperate, a kind of an emergency phrase. His phrase was, por favor, tirar el peliculoso, which is, please shoot the hairy one. Okay, I'd like to play tribute now to a classic song, Cars, by Gary Newman in the French disco pop style. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have a stomp up. All right. Okay, here we go. I feel like I might end up like one of those blokes who sit at the side of the road with two shopping bags, just shouting at traffic. I need to relax now. Other people have got different ways of relaxing. Jennifer Aniston, she says, when it all gets too much, I just drive up to my Malibu beach house and shout at the ocean. Oh, poor old Jennifer, eh? Unlike the rest of us, we just get a bottle of Malibu. Go out the park and shout at the pigeons. I trusted you! Sometimes I make a chocolate bicycle out of 2 wagon wheels, some chocolate fingers, and I park it in a Toblerone bike rack. Or I take my navel froth out and weave it into wigs so that fleas can act out Victorian melodramas. Actually, I was in a duty-free coming back on the plane. I was looking at the Toblerones, you know, the towers of giant Toblerones, the ziggurat of Toblerones. And I must have been drooling or something while I was looking at it, because a bloke came out of the office and he came up to me and he went, I've got bigger ones. See, things like that happened to me. I was in a shop buying a houseplant, and the bloke said to me, oh, that'll give you something to stand next to. Yeah, technically it will, mate. I don't know in what context. I was thrown out of a shopping centre for sarcasm, right? The security guard, a tiny little fella, he had a huge walkie-talkie on his hip. He looked like a panda with a laptop bag on, right? And I said, he looks efficient, and he chucked me out. Chucked me out. So as I was leaving, I said, unhand me, sir. I've never been treated in this manner by a stranger. Pretended to be a 19th century southern belle. Well, I was dressed as a shepherdess, seemed ashamed to waste it. So I came back in and said, you can't chuck me out. And he said, right. And he called for backup, and he pressed a button, and this huge, lummoxing mal ogre came sort of shambling out of a rapid response hutch, this kind of knuckle-dragging, low-browed, drooling Nickelback fan. Came shuffling up to me, and he said, I am authorised to use minimum force to eject you. I was really intrigued to know what minimum force might be. Like he's going to waft me out with an oriental fan. Flick me out with little flicks out. Ow! It's the joggers I don't trust, right? Because they're always the ones that find the bodies, aren't they? But I'm not worried about 2012, right? I'm not worried about the end of days, the Mayan calendar, the end of the world, the giant tsunamis. I'm not worried about that. No? You know why? Because, you know, as a British person, all right, I'm stoic. British people are very stoic. If that happens, if there's this huge tsunami in London, there'll be a bloke on a patio trying to get a barbecue started. He'll look up, see a 1,000-foot wall of water, and he'll go, oh, typical. Look at that. First decent bit of weather we've had, now this. Come on, we'll have to do it on the grill, inside, come on. Now, what I'm worried about in 2012 is the London Olympics opening ceremony. You imagine what a toe-curling cringe fest that is going to be. Every cheesy aspect of Britishness given some toe-curling makeover. Oh, look, here's an inflatable Churchill bobbing down the Thames to music representing the best of British. Then we get to Wembley Stadium and a huge animatronic Yorkshire pudding is wheeled out onto the pitch. The crust hinges back and dancers representing gravy and mushy peas caper about. A huge robot bulldog lumbers into view with Tesco proud Olympic partners shaved into its scrotum. Down its tongue on a stanner stairlift comes the Queen. A laser from her crown lights the Olympic torch. Then her head snaps back like a pez and a corgi shoots out of it. Be afraid, be very afraid. I never get invited to these things, I don't know why. I tell you who gets invited, James Blunt. That's the sort of person that gets invited. James Blunt, who recently got voted more annoying than paper cuts. I was listening to a song of his, right, and it's, well, I say song, you know, it's not a mawkish, sentimental piffle came dribbling out the radio like oral potpourri from a lavender hanky drawer of a 19th century dowager. And Apparently, James Blunt's song Goodbye My Lover is the most popular song played at funerals in Britain. Like your day's not going badly enough. We can't get funerals right at all. You know, all my family have been cremated, right? The dead ones, obviously. Yeah, a bit harsh, wasn't it? Auntie Doris, we napalmed her, she nodded off. Well, Apocalypse Now was her favourite film. It's what she would have wanted, you know. The horror, she loved that. I watched a snail crawling along a straight razor. This is just for about 18 people now. So, anyway. Do you know what, though? It's weird getting ash. I just think that's weird getting your loved one's ashes. You can do a new thing now. It's called Life Gem. For £2,000, you could set them in a ring. Just how weird is that as Uncle Frank? Don't he catch the light? Look at that. For 20 quid, you could put them in a snow globe, couldn't you? He never made it to Paris. He's there now, look at that. So if you're not familiar with the work of James Blunt, this is a bit of a primer. I've seen truth. I've seen youth in a booth near Red Roof. I've seen lies. I've seen eyes. I've seen lies in the eyes of flies. But you are a beautiful flower. You bloom every hour. Ooh, so precious and revealing, like a rabbit stuck to the ceiling. So beautiful and random, like a weasel and a duck on a tandem. Thank you, Dublin! Thank you! A little bit of West Country hip-hop for you. Get higher, baby! Get higher, baby! Get higher, baby! As your rubber come down. Bass. Bass. Whoa. vessels, burning white. About $1 million, almost overnight. Twice as sweet as sugar, and twice as bitter as salt. And if you get hooked, baby, it's nobody else's fault, so don't do it! Get higher, baby! Get higher, baby! Get higher, baby! Don't you ever come down!
Home base!
Free base!
Free base!
And now, Kraftwerk, play the Wurzels. You know what? Sometimes, what I like to do is relax. I put my, because Revels, right? I like to put my head in a bucket and eat a packet of Revels, right? Because let's be honest, the magic of Revels is over, isn't it? We know what the filling's going to be from the size and shape of the Revel. But if you put your head in a bucket, it makes that identification process a little bit more difficult. I feel I'm getting a bit old, you know. The other day I had this overwhelming compunction to garden. I put on some cricket pads, I went out in the garden, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was digging with a fork out the kitchen drawer. Sewing Tic Tacs. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. After a bit I got bored. I just started burying cheap spoons to baffle the archaeologists of the future. I'd like to finish up with a short poem, thank you. This is called Since You've Been Gone, I've Been Alone. Since you've been gone, I've been alone. Like an arm without a bone, dangling limply like a phone that's out of charge, like Homer without Marge. Like an egg without a spoon, like a dugong on the moon. Like a clownfish without Nemo, like Twilight without emo. Like Hardy without Laurel, like high ground without the moral, like Disney without Walt, like battery without assault. Like a pet shop without gerbils, like Hitler without Goebbels. Running naked through a wedding. Driving fast way out past Reading. Children slaughter kittens playing with a nail gun. Children's laughter, kittens playing with Nail and I. Gone are these pleasures. Like a dilemma without the die, just a lemma and a sigh. Like deja without vous, I am nothing without you. Till the day that you come back, I'm like Whitney without crack. Thank you. I'd like to just like to finish up with a short film. Thank you.
Dandelion!